Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, the Hacks God from NYC, Razor here, and this week we are back with week 2 of Season 7 of the NPL. This week we are going to play against one of my best friends in the community, Verd, and his Tampa Bay Frogadiers, and we're coming off a loss last week 1-0 to Blake Moxie and Fername, and this week we have another very scary, very tough matchup. Verd's team offensive and defensive wise is very scary against my team. I'm going to put his team up on the screen right here so you guys can see as we go through Team Builder. He has basically a bunch of offensive threats that I can't really switch into. My team isn't the best defensive. My team is good offensively, but it's definitely not the best defensively, especially for this matchup. One big threat that he does have on his team is the Zygarde 50, just because I have no switch-ins for it. My only switch-in for that thing is Chestnut, and still Chestnut doesn't really go up against it well if it's like a sub-setup set. So that's honestly probably one of the biggest threats to me in this matchup, Zygarde 50. And it's probably one of the scariest mons that he has besides the other one, the Kartana, which he also has a Tapu Bulu with, so he's going to have Kartana Grassy Terrain, which is ridiculously scary because Kartana is such a strong, fast, hard-hitting mon, and my only real stop to it is Fortress, but he also has things like the Arcanine and the Nihilego, which can just stop Fortress really well because Fortress can't really deal with those mons too well. He can't really take a hit from them very well, especially if Arcanine has any fire move. I'm pretty sure Fortress is dead. Nihilego runs HP Fire. I'm pretty sure Fortress is dead. I'm pretty sure even HP Fire from Tapu Bulu. Fortress is dead HP Fire from anything because Fortress Fire no good. Another thing that he has is the Mega Pinsir, and Mega Pinsir is a goddamn monster. Especially in my team when, again, my only switch into it is a Fortress. And maybe somewhat of a Thundee T. I don't even think Thundee T takes hits from that thing too well because Mega Pinsir is a strong piece of shit. Then he also just has some defensive threats like the Umbreon, which is a complete check to my Mega Latias. My team does not break Umbreon very well. Then he also just has Tentacruel for spin against the Hazard stack. He has a couple things I don't think he'll bring, but they're kind of interesting. Claydol, Smeargle, and Rotom. Rotom can be pretty decent. He can will a lot of my stuff. Smeargle, if he actually does bring that, he can set up stuff like Sticky Webs, which I guess my team, where I have a Thundee T and a Mega Latias, isn't that great, but it definitely stops my Mamoswine, my Entei, my Mienshao. So that's actually pretty good against me. And then Claydol, I don't think you'll bring it, but it is extra spin. It is a decent wall, and I don't know. So, that's pretty much my little rundown of his team right here. So, now we're going to take a look at my team real quick. And first up, we're going to have the Thundee T. You'll be sorry. All my names are going to be pretty cheeky. And it's basically just going to be Double Dance Thundee T again, because Double Dance Thundee T against his team is actually very good. I really only need Thunderbolt and HP Ice to completely break his team. Especially with Electrium Z, if I'm plus, even if he's max Def, max HP Umbreon, a +2 Gigavolt Havoc from Thundee T is like pretty much a guarantee. I think it's like 94% OHKO, I'm pretty sure. So that's actually really good. It really helps me to break the Umbreon. And then if I can double dance on anything, because this thing doesn't take anything for Umbreon with the 0 IV minus attack. So this is like my Umbreon check switch in. And if Umbreon wants to Toxic it, that's fine, because at the very least I can kill a couple things on his team before the Toxic kills me. So I think this set is actually very good. It stops the Tentacruel. Basically, if I get a Nasty Pot off, it does a lot of damage to everything. The Arcanine, the Bulu, the Pinsir, then not the Nihilego, the Kartana, even the Zygarde 50. So I think this set is actually very good against this team. Next we have Flip the Bird. Philippe the Bird. The Aerodactyl. Life Orb with Unnerve, so he can't use any of his resist berries if he does choose to have any, because stuff like Shuka on Tenta or Shuka on Arcanine, or maybe even Yachi on Zygarde 50 could be possible. I don't really need much speed to outspeed this team, so just 375, 309, and 76 HP. Stone Edge, Earthquake, Ice Fang, and Roost. Edgequake pretty much hits everything on his team hard. Ice Fang for the Zygarde 50 with a Life Orb hits very hard, very fast, and I think this can be a decent offensive threat to his team. The only thing that really checks it would be Scarf Kartana, Scarf Nihilego, which are definitely possibilities in this matchup. I definitely do expect a Scarf Kartana, which pretty much just kills this thing with either Leaf Blade or a Smart Strike. Even Bulu can probably kill this because I'm positive an Ice Fang doesn't completely knock out a Bulu, so it would have to be weakened first. But I do think this is a very good cleanup set against this team. Next we have Just Incredible, the Mega Latios, and it's going to be Psyshock, Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam, and Roost. Psyshock pretty much just as a basic stab move. It hits the Nihilego and the Tentacruel very hard. Dragon Pulse, it hits the Zygarde, it hits the Arcanine if it's defensive, better than Psyshock. It hits the Mega Pinsir. It hits pretty much everything that Psyshock isn't that great against. And then Ice Beam for Zygarde, Tapu Bulu, and Claydol if he does choose to bring it. And I just need to run enough speed to outspeed the Kartana a little bit if he's not going to be Scarf. Max Special Attack, 8 HP. This also is pretty much just a good cleanup set against him, because if he's Scarf Nihi, he doesn't really do that much to me. Kartana X Scissor does a lot, but if I catch anything on a switch-in, something's pretty much going to be very chunked or very dead. If something's weakened, I can probably just bring this thing in and then revenge kill it with this. So I think this is actually a very good offensive threat to his team. Then we have Bjorn Free, the Choice Band Mamoswine. I do think Mamoswine is definitely one of the bigger threats in this matchup to his team, because he doesn't really have many switch-ins for Mamoswine's stab moves. The best thing that he would have would be to have a Mega Pinsir coming on an Earthquake or Claydol coming on an Earthquake, but then my Ice moves do a shit ton to them. Even Umbreon, I think, is 2-hit Banded Earthquake or Icicle Crash. So this set is actually very good. I did want to run Band because I feel like just having the extra power behind any one of Mamoswine's stabs will be great, especially if I can make a prediction with them. I'm going to be slightly bulky because I'm just going to outspeed. I believe this is No Speed Arc 226. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget. I'm tired. I ran out of coffee, as you can see. So, Mamoswine definitely a great offensive threat to his team. He doesn't really have that much for Ice Ground Stab. Tentacruel, Bulu, Kartana can take a couple hits, but it's bulky on the defensive side. Zygarde doesn't really want to come in on this. Nothing really just wants to come in on this thing. That's pretty much Mamoswine's job, just to kill whatever the hell wants to come in on this, because none of them want to. Then we have Frankly Mydear, the Fortress, with Agua Berry, Stealth Rock, Toxic, Rapid Spin, and Earthquake. Uh, I decided to go Agua Berry in this matchup because this is my Kartana Bulu check, which is not the best considering Bulu does run HP fire sometimes for these kinds of things. But this is my main Kartana check. This is my only stop to Kartana, and he does have Tentacruel, which can run HP fire. He has the Tapu Bulu, which can run HP fire. He has the Nihilego, which can run HP fire. He has an Arcanine. So you're probably wondering why I have Agua Berry. No? Okay. But basically, I want the Agua Berry just so that I can have more sustain against a Kartana. Because if I'm going to switch this thing into a Kartana, it's going to take a hit, and then I can predict whether he wants to go into Bulu, Nihi, or Arc. That's why Earthquake is there. Earthquake catches Nihi and Arc a little bit. Arc, if it's defensive, doesn't take that much, but Nihi pretty much dies if it's not in grassy terrain, I believe. Because Nihi does not like ground moves, and even though Fortress doesn't have that much attack, it's going to kill. So, and then if he wants to go into Bulu, I have Toxic for that. If he wants to go into anything that can hit the Fortress, I can just Toxic or Earthquake it. I can set up my rocks. I did have Spikes on this set before instead of Toxic, but after a couple mocks, I just figured Toxic would be best because this was too much. Fortress became too much of an easy Zygarde switch in, which I definitely thought as well when I was doing those mocks that Fortress was going to be too much of Zygarde bait, Zygarde fodder. So if he's like a sub setup set or just like a setup set, then I feel like Toxic is much better to have over Spikes. Definitely because we also have this one, Seal of Fate, with Thunderwave, Hex, Spikes, and Ice Beam. Against a team as fast as his, with the Mega Pinsir, the Kartana, and then Nihilego, I feel like Thunderwave is actually a very good move to bring into this matchup. Hex, if I can Thunderwave something and then Hex it, or if I have something Toxic and I can Hex it, that's going to do a lot of damage to pretty much anything on this team. Spikes, because Hazard Stack is good. Das ist gut, ja. And then Ice Beam. Ice Beam pretty much hits most of his team. It hits the Zygarde, it hits the Mega Pinsir, it hits the Tapu Bulu, and it's pretty much the only coverage move I need to have, because with this thing, I basically just want to set up Spikes, or I want to T-Wave stuff on the switch-ins. So it's not really that useful to me in an offensive standpoint. It's more useful to me in the utility standpoint. So that's the team that we have for Verd. I will see you guys when we get into the battle. Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with the battle. Once again, we are going to play against one of my best friends in the community, Verd, and his Tampa Bay Frogadiers. And basically, this matchup, it's going to be pretty tough because I have a very offensive team with very limited defensive checks to his offense, and not a lot of stops, and not a lot of things that can break his walls. But we're going to play this game anyway. So, going into the team preview, one thing that stands out to me a lot is that he did not bring the Zygarde 50. And it's kind of surprising to me, but I guess in a way he definitely thought that I would bring Chestnut to start to wall the Zygarde 50. So I think he just kind of prepared that by bringing things that can counter Chestnut, because he didn't really need the Zygarde 50, because maybe I would overprep for the Zygarde 50 considering I have no switch-ins for it. I did kind of overprep for it, but I think that my team is more so... it's kind of overprep for Zygarde 50, but at the same time it's not. I definitely have things that can deal with all the stuff that he brought, because this is pretty much everything else that I consider him to bring. Maybe switching out one thing for Zygarde 50, but this is pretty much what I expected to see. He has the Bulu to give the Kartana grassy terrain. Kartana in this matchup, my guess is that he's most likely Scarfed. Tentacruel could be Spadef, or it could be a setup variant, Toxic Spikes. Spikes, Toxic Spikes, so it's going to be pretty scary. My team is mostly off the ground though, so I don't think he's going to be running hazards of any sort, but he's definitely going to have Rapid Spin for my hazards. Alright, sorry about that, had to pause for a little second. Professionalism at its finest. So, Arcanine I definitely expect to be some sort of defensive Arcanine with maybe Willow or Toxic, Morning Sun, and probably like Flamethrower or Flare Blitz. Maybe E-Speed as well if he's not double status. Nihi can be... I did run into a couple different Nihi sets when I was when I was doing mocks. I ran into AB, which is kind of good considering it kind of stops my Thundy T. I ran into Specs and Scarf. So I think I feel like Specs or Scarf are more likely in this matchup. Specs definitely hits my team really, really hard. If he's Scarf, it doesn't hit as hard, so I kind of hope that he's Scarf Nihi here a little bit, because I think that's just easier for my team to handle. And then he has the Umbreon, which completely checks my Mega Latios and is a stop to most of my team just with Foul Play, Toxic Wish, Protect. It is a very, very annoying mon. I hate playing against this mon. This mon just triggers me so much. So we're going to get into the game now. So I'm going to lead off with my Aerodactyl as he leads off with his Tentacruel. So here, I know Aerodactyl has a much better matchup against Tentacruel, so I expect him to switch out. He's going to go into the cart, but I'm just going to go for an Earthquake, because I don't really think I have to predict too much turn 1. And that's going to do a clean 40 to the Kartana. Getting damage on this thing is really good for me. I'm going to go right into my Kartana stop right here, Fortress. I don't think he's going to have HP Fire on this mon. I highly doubt it. I definitely think he's some sort of Scarf variant. And I think my guess is right here because he's going to switch out to the Kartana. He's going to go into the Tentacruel. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, catch him off guard, do a clean 70 to the Tentacruel. And that's very good for me because having this thing weakened is very nice. Now, I don't want this Tentacruel to HP Fire my Fortress if he does have it, so I'm going to go into Latios the Scout. So he does have the HP Fire. He's going to switch out into his Umbreon. I'm going to Mega Evolve here, and I'm just going to go for a safe Dragon Pulse here. See if I can get some damage, and that does 30. So that's pretty decent damage. That's pretty good. And now I definitely don't want to leave this thing in because Foul Play is a 2-hit KO even if I have no attack, 0 IVs. And I'm going to go to my Umbreon check, the Thundy T, as he goes for a Wish. And here I'm going to get my Dance off. I'm going to Nasty Plot up against this thing because this thing can't really do much to me except for Foul Play and Toxic. So he is going to Foul Play me, and it's going to do more than I expected considering I have no attack, 0 IVs minus attack in nature. But that's fine. Now, I misplayed a little bit right there. I definitely could have had this thing around longer. What I thought that he was going to do, I thought he would maybe predict the Z move and sack his Tentacruel to the Gigavolt Havoc, if I did have it. Or maybe switch to something for Fightium Z, Focus Blast. But he actually, so I just safely Thunderbolted, but he actually did stay in with the Umbreon, which kind of hurts me a little bit because now he's able to get the Toxic off here, and now my Thunderous T is on a timer. So here, I'm just going to straight Gigavolt Havoc. I believe, actually, no, he protects, and I go for Agility. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I knew this. Now I Gigavolt Havoc. Yeah, I Gigavolt Havoc. Okay. So I'm going to Gigavolt Havoc this thing, take it out. I could have taken it out a lot earlier and preserved my Thundy T for some of this game, but I definitely thought that he was going to sack the Tentacruel to it. And here he's going to go into Bulu to bait the HP. He's going to go into Bulu, he's either Scarf or maybe he's Assault Vest, but he is going to bait me to use the HP Ice here against that Tentacruel. And this does kind of matter a little bit, but I am going to crit him with the HP Ice, which didn't matter. It would not have killed if it wasn't a crit. So that's a little bit of hacks on my end. But now that the Tentacruel is gone, it's my team definitely looks a lot better. And now this is uh, a very important play. And this basically right here, turn 11. This is where the game was. This is where the game pretty much could have been decided. So right here, it's Fortress against Arcanine. Arcanine is a fire type. Fortress is 4 times weak to fire. Fortress stops Bulu and Kartana from doing anything. So, what would a reasonable man do here? They would switch out the Fortress predicting a fire move. Or it'd be Akaberry. Me, I stay in because as he toxics, because my thought process was he's probably defensive Arcanine, and he probably either has Flamethrower or Flare Blitz. And what's going to happen here is he knows that nobody stays in with Fortress on Arcanine. So, I predicted him to go for, I knew he was going to go for some sort of status move to try to catch my Latios off guard, or to catch my Arrow off guard, and just try to whittle them down. And this was basically, if I lost this prediction of him going for the status move over the fire move, I basically lost the game right there, because then I would have nothing to stop Scarf Kartana from sweeping me. So I made one of the riskiest plays I've ever did in a League format, and the funny thing is when I made this play, I was kind of in blissful ignorance of this. I didn't really realize this until the match was over. I thought of it so calmly. I was like, he's going for status. I don't think he's going for the fire move, so I'm going to stay with the Fortress. I'm going to get my rocks up. But if he went for the fire move there, I basically lost the game, because then Kartana just ran through my entire team, and I didn't realize this at the time, because it didn't really pop into my head when I was playing it. My instincts just took over, and I was like, he's going for toxic, he's going for Willow. I don't really care if Fortress gets Willowed. So I think I made a pretty good play there. I think I made a very stupidly good play. I think that's how we should call this. So I didn't actually go for us. I toxic the Arcanine, which is actually very good for me. We trade toxics, but I don't get toxic time steal, and I get some nice residual damage on the Arcanine. And now I'm going to switch out of the Arcanine and go into my Aerodactyl, predicting the Flamethrower. Arrow is a frail mon, but it's not going to take a lot from this Flamethrower because it is resisted. And now I'm kind of checking his Arcanine right here with the Arrow. So here, I believe he's going to go into his Bulu, predicting either one of the Edgequakes. Actually, he went to Cart on Stone Edge, which still does clean 30 to a Kartana. Kartana has very low HP, but it is pretty physically bulky. And I'm kind of just going to sack my Arrow here, because I actually predicted him to go back into the Arcanine or into Bulu on the Fortress. So here I can just safely go Fortress, and I can either go and I can get my rocks up. And my rocks are actually very good here, because they do whittle down the Arcanine a lot. They do some damage to Nihi, they do some damage to the Cart if they want to come in. And here, against the Bulu, I feel pretty safe, I guess you can say. So he is going to sub. I'm going to actually toxic here. And him subbing here is actually also pretty big, because I did talk to him after the game. He was HP Fire Bulu. And now I feel like he still thought that I was Akaberry, because because my Olive Berry didn't pop until like the end of the match, so I'm pretty sure he thought I was Akaberry, especially since I stayed in on the Arcanine. So him subbing up here and making me miss the Toxic is actually going to be a lot better for me in this situation, because it is going to get me, because the grassy terrain is now going to get me back into my sturdy range. So now I can be on Arcanine, I can stay in on the Arcanine more safe, or on the Nihilego more safely, if they do have HP Fire and stuff. So he is going to reveal the HP Fire right here as I go into my Frost Blast. Frostlass I don't need anymore in this matchup, so I'm just going to use it to break the Bulu's sub and to get some damage off on the Bulu. He's going to go for a Woodhammer here and kill the Frostlass, but I am going to be able to get rid of its sub, which is very nice because Bulu behind a sub is very scary. And I didn't think he was Woodhammer. I thought he was mostly going to be like a special set since I still had HP Fire, but he did have the Woodhammer as a very good strong stab move. Here I'm going to go into Latias, and I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam because I feel like that was my best play here. If he went into the Nihi doesn't do any damage to me, so I could have just Side Shock there. So I think it's kind of fine if I go for going for Ice Beam there. I definitely think I made the right play. So here he's going to go in the cart. I'm going to go back into my designated card check on the X Scissor. And now I don't have the Sturdy anymore, so I can't safely stay in on Nihi or Arcanine anymore, but I am going to Earthquake here, predicting him to go into either one of the two, because Kartana can't do anything to 4E. So I'm going to get some good damage off there on the Arcanine, and he's going to get whittled down by the Toxic a little bit more. Here, I'm going to go into my Mamo, and he does click Willow, but he misses. That's actually kind of big, because my Mamo is a very scary threat to his team, especially since it's banded, so that's a little bit more hacks on my end. Here he's just going to go for the Flamethrower, but I believe I am Thick Fat? Maybe? I don't think I changed my ability on the man. I need to go back into the team builder and see that. But I think I'm Thick Fat. By the way I took that, I think I may be Thick Fat. Here on the Nihi, I'm going to switch into Latios, as I said again, because Latios, if he's Scarf Nihi, doesn't do much to me. I get 3-hit KO by Power Gem from Scarf, but he is going to crit me here. And that crit kind of mattered a little bit for differential. Because what happened then is I would not have been 2-hit KO'd by Power Gem, or it would have been a roll highly in my favor to live. And I would have just been able to get off a Side Shock there. Or a Side Shock there. Even if he switched into the Kartana, it would be fine. But now that he crit me, this Nihilego just becomes even scarier. Because now I'm in Power Gem range. And he's going to get the special attack boost on the Nihi, which is ridiculously scary. I'm going to go into the Fortress here, because I can take a +1 Power Gem. I can live it. I calced it. I'm going to get my Agua Berry, and I'm going to go for an Earthquake, and this thing is dead. It is done. It did nothing. So, it wasn't a roll to kill me there either. Fortress lived that. So, or maybe it was a roll very highly in my favor. It was one of the two, but I definitely thought it was my best option. So now Fortress is just going to be up against Kartana here. Kartana has nothing to touch this. Fortress is just going to be able to Earthquake into that, and we are going to be able to get our first win of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, the BEWEARS are on the board. We did have a little bit of hacks in our favor. I don't really think the Willow on the Mammal really mattered, considering that it didn't really do much. Because I'm pretty sure a banded Earthquake, even if I was burned, would have... Because did Mammal hit anything? I forget. If it hit the... yeah, it still would have killed. It definitely still would have killed the Arcanine, so I don't think it would have mattered that much. The crit on the Tentacruel definitely mattered a little bit, because we did talk about that he was a speedy offensive Tentacruel, so maybe that could have done something to me, or would have forced me to go into something else. I don't. It would just be theories from there, but I still think that this was pretty much a very good game. We both played pretty well. I got some pretty decent predictions. I made a ballsy ass play that definitely could have lost me the game if I hadn't made it there. Because if this Fortress wasn't here at this turn, I would have lost to the Kartana. Because I don't think even a Banded Ice Shard would, it's new, actually, I don't know. But Fortress was a legend. He was a god I would have lost to Nihilego if my fortress was not here. Frankly, my dear, you have won. No, but definitely a good game to Bird. Make sure to go check him out. His channel will be in the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for some more Chicago BEWEARS NPL content. Beat up that like button. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you did enjoy this battle, and if you are hyped for the BEWEARS getting their first win of the season, make sure to go check out the NPL channel as well to see all our analyst content. Make sure to follow the NPL Twitter. Make sure to do all of that good shit. Alright guys, I'm gone.